Good morning, my fellow nerdlings. Today in this video, I am going to show you my YouTube studio desk setup. Well, I'm actually going to show you the whole entire thing so that you can see what it is that I'm using. If it's equipment that you might like to use, or if maybe you don't want to use it at all, I don't know. But this is the equipment that has worked very well for me so far. It is definitely not a cheap game to play, but you don't need all of this fancy equipment. You could literally do it just with your phone, exactly like I'm doing it right now. So let's get to the studio tour, and then we'll have a little chat after where I'm going to share some information about some upcoming videos that you may want to see if you own any of this equipment. I'm Turbo the Tech Nerd, and it's time to get you turbocharged. All right, so here I am at my desk, and you can see what I have going on around me. This is my usual background. But in this video, I'm going to show you my YouTube Studio desktop setup. Now, when I say my desk setup or my desktop setup, I'm actually going to show you the entire studio so that you can see all of the equipment that I use. I don't use it all on a regular basis, but I do have access to it to make it a little bit easier to make videos of different varieties, and I'm going to be trying some new things. Like today I tried this new intro with me walking down the stairs to the studio. So I am going to try some more interesting things because I know the tutorials are a little bit dry and they go a little bit quick, but that's why they call me Turbo the Tech Nerd. So I give you the information. You can pause, rewind, go back and forth, rewatch it a bunch of times so that you understand exactly what it is that I did. But now I think we just need to get to the studio tour. All right, so coming down into this area, this is just the area where we play the PS5. And we have a PS3 too, but we don't use it much anymore. A little popcorn maker there. And in behind here, this is the system that we use for remotely controlling the studio that is in the room next to it. So you'll see that there's a little red light here. When I pop the switch on, everybody knows they need to be quiet because I happen to be recording. Inside the room, here's what we have. All right, so inside this blimp, this is the Rode blimp. It comes with the dead cat and everything. I apologize for the color. I have all the lights off, actually. Let me just switch that up. And so this is the Rode blimp. Oh, got a light up. And then a little seating area. You can see that the room is sound treated over here, and you'll see why in a second. And so we have big monitors here, so the people that are being recorded in this area, which is what I call the mini stage area, they can see themselves on the monitors and like or dislike what they see. And then we a bunch of other gear up there. We've got microphones coming out our wazoo here. This is a PG48 by Shure. Inside the Rode blimp, we have Sennheiser MKE 600. And then lots of tripods. We have PA equipment in here because we record some live audio. We don't do multi-tracking or anything like that, but I have a friend that's a bit of a rock star, and he likes to come over and play and have fun. So we got the DJI Phantom Pro 3, a little more PA equipment. This is my camera that I use for shooting real estate. Obviously not with that lens. If you want to learn how to shoot real estate videos, leave that in the comments below. These are some of my other lenses that I use. This computer I mostly use for background in my videos so that I can put whatever I want up on the screen. We have a Rode Pod mic. We have the Shure SM7B. We have the Shure SM58. The DMX light controller. I use that to control all of these funky, pretty color lights that we have all the way around. And I believe I have 10 or 12 of them all together that have different colors on them so that we can switch it up and make the background more interesting. an older Panasonic 1080p camera with a wide angle lens on it to give the view from my left side. We have a Sony AX700 with an additional microphone input on it, which I no longer use unless I am out in the field. We have game controllers. We have lots of goodies, GoPro batteries, a USB hub there so that we can get everything charged up. I have a 3-in and 1-out video switcher, HDMI switcher. Underneath that, you'll see an audio extractor. Watch for the video on that. You're going to want to know about that if you've got an ATEM Mini Pro because it has no headphone out. We have the ATEM Mini Pro, of course. I have the 4K splitter that goes 1 in and 4 out. And then to move over here, we have the Elgato Stream Deck XL, which I can literally change at the press of a button to give me different pages and screens. Now I could also just add a page button to that, but that just makes it easy for me. We have a GoPro here. That's my third camera. That's the wide angle shot you see coming from my right. The Rodecaster Pro. This is the Dynamite SE. I use this as a cloud lifter for my Shure SM7B because they're very power hungry. I also use it on the road pod mic. And then a Mackie mixing board I use for doing the live audio input where echo is required, reverb, different microphone effects to help audio for the singer. The Rodecaster Pro is more of a broadcast style of audio interface so that I can shape the sound of my voice as opposed to adding effects to my voice, although they're still both effects. For my headphones, I'm using the Sennheisers. Love me some Sennheiser stuff. Of course, a big giant desk mouse pad. You can see I have a hole in it right there. That's because I used to have the ATEM Mini Pro up here where I could reach it, and then I had all the wires going down in there. But that became such a hassle with all the wires that were going backward that I just thought, geez, this is stupid. So that's when I got the Elgato Stream Deck. It has a single wire that runs into the computer, and that can control the ATEM Mini Pro.
Stick around because right after I tell you about all the upcoming videos, I'm going to show you my desktop view. So the view from where I sit looking forward and how I use that. So stick around till just after this. If you are finding anything in this video helpful, I'd really appreciate it if you hit the subscribe button. You know, it's a YouTube thing, and us YouTubers, we really need that to grow our channels. If you have interest in what it is that you're watching, if you don't have interest in what you're watching, or you don't have any interest in learning about the ATEM Mini Pro, camera setups, lighting setups, the Rodecaster Pro, live audio setups, please don't click the subscribe button. We like people that are going to come in, watch the entire video, and then maybe watch a few more videos. That's the idea of YouTube, so that we can keep you informed, updated, and give you a bunch of knowledge that you may not have had before and solve some of your problems. If you have any questions about any of the equipment that I'm using, I'd appreciate it if you put them in the comments below, because that's where I'm going to draw from to make up my next videos, which are going to include, wow, big list. My Rodecaster Pro settings. I'm going to give you my exact settings that I use for the Shure SM7B. And in another video following that, I'm going to show you how I connect the Rodecaster to my ATEM to allow it to give me the best audio quality that I can get that's shaped for my voice. Now, your settings might be a little bit different so that you can shape the sound that you like to hear. But I go for a generic broadcaster style audio. So we're also going to do the difference between a mixer and an audio interface. So the difference between, in my case, it's going to be the difference between the Rodecaster Pro and the Mackie Pro. One of them we use for live audio. The other one we use for broadcast. This is a broadcast style audio, whereas with the mixer, we're going to show you the differences using echoes and things like that. We're going to show you a video about the ATEM, using one camera to get 3 different shots when you have 2 different people. So you'll get the wide angle, you get the one person, and you'll get the other person, just using the ATEM and one camera. I'm going to show you in an upcoming video the ATEM gaming setup, so how you connect your game to your ATEM to be able to stream. Now, there'll be another video following that, or a series of other videos following that, on how to connect it to OBS, Twitch, YouTube, Ecamm Live, what else? Some other ones. Zoom. So ATEM with the Zoom, ATEM with the Twitch, ATEM with Ecamm Live, ATEM with the Stream Deck. That's going to be a really important video because I learned some valuable lessons when I was cooking the companion app to the Elgato Stream Deck, and the IP address was never correct. But I found that there's a second IP address within the software of your ATEM that is the actual IP address that you'll need to use if you're networked. Also going to show you how to use the Ecamm with the Stream Deck and OBS with the Stream Deck. I'm going to show you how to record with the ATEM versus using it only as a webcam. It only has one USB, so I'm going to give you a couple of ideas on how you can record while you're using it as a webcam. I'm going to show you the ATEM streaming setup. So like I said, various platforms. ATEM monitor audio. So that's going to be a big one. I'm pretty sure that's going to be pretty popular. The ATEM mini series does not have an audio out. The new Extreme, I believe, has an audio out that you can connect to headphones and monitor the exact sound that you got from your audio interface to the ATEM. Now, it does require a small piece of equipment. I've got a really cheap one. Seems to work very, very well. So I'm going to show you how to do that so that you can hear yourself in final audio. Otherwise, you're only going to hear what you get out of your Rodecaster, because your headphones or your mixing board, whatever you're using, to go prior to the ATEM. I'm also going to show you some ATEM quality settings, so how to get the best video quality settings for recording or going live, because it will make a very big difference when you do stuff like this, how blurry your hand gets. You can see my hand is getting blurry, but I like that effect because most of my shots, like you see right now, are virtually static with the exception of moving my hands a little bit. And this is the view from my desk. So you'll see that we have the first camera over here. We have an Aperture 662, I believe it's called, inside that newer softbox. Acer Curve Monitor 32. Samsung overhead monitor for just secondary viewing. In here, I'm using an Aperture monitor. I used to use my iPad inside my teleprompter, and it worked really well. And then I realized that my monitor can also do the same thing, except for it will display my computer screen, which can become very important, especially during a Zoom call or something like that. My big fat iMac, my Acer flat screen, and my GoPro, like I showed you before, as my third one, with a couple other GoPros here that I like to use for shooting B-roll. And speaking of B-roll, this is one of my favorite gizmos for shooting B-roll. It's a motorized dolly, and it can go in circles, it can go side to side, and it can also mount on my slider. And it actually tracks along on the slider. I'm Turbo the Tech Nerd. Don't forget to watch this video because YouTube says you want to, and hit this button because you want to subscribe to my channel. Turbo out.